One of the hardest areas in our lives to trust God is to trust God to know what is good for you. See, we see lots of things that are good for us. We look around us and we say, oh, this job looks good for me. Oh, that food looks good for me. Oh, that partner, that person, they look good for me. Can we just be real? We often choose our partners based on how good they look. It's hard to let that go and to believe that God actually knows better than you what is good for you. Culture tells us that we should go after whatever we think is best for us. That if there's something that could give you joy or give you happiness, that you look at and think that will make my life better, go after it. You are in a position to know better than anybody else what will make you happy, what will satisfy you. But the Bible tells a completely different story. From the very beginning, God recognizes and creates what is good. Each day of creation, God says, it is good, and at the end, it is very good. And God recognizes what is not good. When there was just one human being, Adam, God said, it is not good for man to be alone. So he created Eve so that they could have a relationship together. And for those of us who are in a relationship, you know how good that is, or how good it can be if God has placed that person in your path. The Bible tells story after story of how human beings try and grab what is good for themselves. The first temptation that was presented to human beings, to Eve, was to look to see that something is good and to take it, to put yourself in the position of deciding what is good and what is bad. The book of Judges in the Bible is just story after chaotic story of violence and destruction and human failure. And at the end of all of that, it says there was no king in Israel, and everyone did what was right in their own eyes. There wasn't any standard, people just going after what they wanted, what they thought was good for themselves. And they hurt people in the process. When Israel went to choose a king, they were really happy to choose the best looking, the most handsome, tall king they could find. When that didn't work out well, Samuel the prophet was going to choose another king, and he looked at the best tall, handsome man, and he said, that must be the king that God is going to choose. And God told Samuel something very important. It's right at the heart of this issue. God said, man looks at the outward appearance. We look at the things that we can see, but God looks at the heart. God sees beyond what we can see. God sees deep inside of you and me. See, humans weren't designed to define what is good and not good, precisely because we were designed. You have a creator, a designer who took time to build and form you. And he knows exactly what you were created for. He knows what can satisfy your soul, what can bring you happiness, what can bring you joy. And regardless of the messages that we receive, that we should go after what we think looks good, regardless of who is around us and whether it destroys us or them, God is saying, let me bring good into your life. I know what is good for you. I designed you and I created you. I just want to encourage each one of us to trust your loving designer, your creator, with what is best for you.